I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
Again, with the red car there, who's faster than me. And look how close it got. Hey everyone, and welcome to Route X. Now, if you do not know what Route X is, it is the stupidest, weirdest, most chaotic, but also the closest racing you will ever see. So stick until the end, because I have really good races and really close races for you today, and the ending's just absolutely amazing. Anyway, again, if you don't know what Route X is, look in the top right. You can see it's a long straight, in fact an 11-kilometer long straight, a 4-kilometer banked corner, another 11-kilometer long straight, then another corner. Total of 30 kilometers long circuit. So it is absolutely chaotic, especially through the corners here. You can see, because some people are on controller, like the German or the Belgium. Is that German? No, he was German. The black car there and a few other cars as well. Just weaving. They're in controllers who don't have complete control over their car through here. As this Dutch guy gets sent to the Shadow Realm. Not sure where he's gone. Probably never hear of him ever again. But I avoid the chaos, thankfully for me. And I'm still alive through this first corner. And the way this race works is you do not want to get off the slipstream. You get out of the slipstream, the race is over. So you're just staying in the slipstream, pushing each other along the entire time for essentially until the very end, until the very last corner here. So what you want to do here is you want to time your momentum and keep the perfect gap so you're close enough to the slipstream, but also not too close so that you can't get enough momentum and basically like slingshot past everyone. So right now I'm in a relatively good position. I'll be a bit too far behind from the leaders, but in a good position nonetheless. So as I time my momentum there, I'm gaining momentum on them, and I will be gaining fast, especially on the exit here as they start hitting each other and weaving back and forth. And I'm gonna get really close. The gap opens up, I go for it, but I just miss out and I end up finishing in 7th. Next race went really good though. So in this next race then, we're gonna be starting in 2nd place. And this one went quite well. I haven't actually changed my lap time, it's just basically you want your luck with how well you start. Qualifying isn't really that important. But the whole way this race went is I was just pushing this guy along
2,000 years later,
until the very final corner. So over here, this is where the timing your momentum stuff comes into play. So you can see I'm just in the slipstream. I don't want to give him a bomb trap, because that means I'm going to have to gain momentum all over again. But the guy behind me is giving me a bomb trap if you look in the radar. So now I'm getting the bomb trap and I get pushed by into the lead temporarily here. Well, I say temporarily, but we're going to see what's going to happen. And the leader now, he has our slipstream, which means he'll be able to time his momentum. There's still a little bit left, so he still has time to gain momentum and slingshot past us, and that's exactly what he's gonna try to do. So look in the radar, look how fast he's going. He gives him a bit of a draft, but a bump, but that's fine. But look how close is gonna get between me and him. Down to the line, 0.017 of a second was the gap between me and the person in 2nd place. So that's not the only time this can happen either. I have 10 races today. Each one is like 2 minutes, so I suppose it's not really that bad. It's not that many, but they're all just absolutely chaotic, or some kind of touch to them. So this race didn't go as well. Again, skipping until the very end here of the race, and I have a little bit of a gap, so in terms of momentum position, I'm actually doing well. So I'm in a good position to slingshot past them into the lead. However, the yellow car is gonna push me, and keep an eye out on the radar. The Spanish guy is weaving. I get hit by the yellow car once, maybe twice, and I'm gonna get hit again, this time by this British guy. In fact, he's gonna hit me like 2 or 3 times, which is gonna lose me a lot of momentum, and I'm gonna lose a lot of momentum, and just not be able to slingshot past them, and I have to settle in P5. If I get too far, not close enough for the slipstream to be strong enough to slingshot me past them. But still, it's like 2/10 between me and the leader. Next race then went absolutely chaotic. It went better than the previous race, but it was absolutely crazy. So we're starting 4th in this one though. And again, it was just pushing each other along. So skipping forward to midway through the main straight here. And if we look behind now, look how fast they're gonna be approaching us. So keep an eye out on the radar and just look at them. There's like 3-4 cars coming by using their momentum and their slipstream to go past us. They're gonna be going 6 wide, I think, or 7 wide at some point, as the yellow car weaving all over the place, hitting everyone. Some people, I'm not sure what they're doing, to be honest, during this race, but you know, some people are stupid. Some people are not, but it is what it is. So as we go through the first corner, it's gonna get really close and absolutely chaotic. So we're gonna get pushed by this yellow car, almost squeezed, just pushing me along, or pushing me off the track or off their way for some reason, instead of, you know, actually respecting the guy ahead of you. Nope, they just push me along. And keep an eye out on the finish guy there, as again, I'm trying to stay away from the chaos, but I'm blocked by the car to my right, that black car there. And again, I go to the right hand side to avoid the chaos, but I get pushed off the track and narrowly, with the skin of my teeth, managed to somehow miss the finish guy there. So, not out of this race yet. Still, anything can happen. We're gonna speed through because there's still a lot of bumping happening, to say the least, and a lot of how should I put this? Stupid drivers. And as we go through the final corner, then again, I've actually timed my position relatively well. Maybe a bit too far behind, but close enough, I suppose, as we kind of get off a bump trap from the black car there, who's kind of trapped behind us with nowhere to go. We're gonna get the slipstream of the person in second place. We will get pushed and touched a little bit there by the black car there, but not as horribly as it went in the previous race. So I'm gonna get the momentum onto the straight. I'm losing a little bit of momentum, but not too much. I suppose we're still in this. We have the momentum coming on the straight here, and as the Norwegian, I think that's a Norwegian flag, moves over to the left hand side, which gives us a slipstream, but we get pushed out of the line from the black car there again, and it's gonna get really close on the straight, but we do miss out and finish just in 3rd place. So it's close, but it could have gone better. Next race then, race number 5. This time we're starting in position 5, P5, and immediately go over to the right hand side, stay in the slipstream. You really don't want to lose the slipstream. You want to stay in the slipstream for as long as you can. Stay in the line, because if you get out of the slipstream, it's basically over, as we will see in a few races later on. Anyway then, skipping over to the final corner, again in a few seconds here. I'm gonna skip to the final corner. Momentum is close enough, I suppose. Actually, it's pretty good. If we can stay in the slipstream, we might be able to actually slingshot into the lead. However, we get touched there, we lose a little momentum, so now we're kind of far ahead. Still in the slipstream though, but are we gonna be close enough to win the race? So now we're actually in 7th place there. We were at 8th place at some point, I believe, and get really close. Again, the gap opens up, and I'm gonna go through here, and it's gonna get really close. 5 wide or something. I lose control, go into the 3rd cam, and look how close it's gonna get with the red car there, who's faster than me, and look how close it got. But he barely won there. Turbo Baron, or whatever he's called. 0.013. So even closer than the one we won. Next race didn't go well. It went really bad for us here. It's a very short race, so I'm not gonna skip through. Instead, I'm just gonna speed forward a little bit here. And by a little bit, I mean this is 7 times the speed, just so you can get a sense of scale of how long this straight really is. And again, absolutely chaotic. Everyone is just all over the place. And as we go through the first corner here then, you keep an eye out on the radar as we get squeezed a little bit here. Not much space. Again, getting squeezed by the yellow car, between the black car, and
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
and we get thrown into the barrier, into the air, which basically functioned as a ramp to the barrier, and it threw us into the air, made us fly, and I just ended up race quitting this one. And on to race 7 then, which went more or less the same way. It went more or less just as bad, if not worse, really. I'm not sure it can get worse, but it got worse. So, again, speed forwarding a little bit, 7 times the speed. Again, that's how long the straight is. Speed forwarding here. And as we go through down the hill into the first corner, keep an eye out on the cars behind. Keep an eye on the radar, most importantly, as we're getting squeezed by the black car. We try to go back to avoid the barrier so the same thing doesn't happen with us, but it does happen.
Believe I can fly. I believe
And if anything, we get thrown like 3 meters above the ground or something. We get thrown really high up, even worse than last time. And the car behind there, I thought, you know, the race was basically over, but we might be able to like work with him, perhaps, if he's going. But turns out, he was basically stopped in place. And I go into his back, and funnier yet, he actually ends up getting a penalty for that. Oddly enough, I believe a 2-second time penalty there. But, you know, again, I end up rage quitting this race. Right, next race then, race 8. This time, it was better than the previous one, but it was close. It was really, really close near the end. So again, we're just gonna skip forward all the way until the end here. And we're gonna be close. We're gonna have the momentum, a really good momentum, as the Russian guy goes a little bit left. We're gonna use him for some slipstream. Go around the outside of him, but he's gonna push us instead and make us lose more momentum than we gain. But that's fine, there's still plenty of length to go. Like I said, this bank corner is like 4 kilometers or something ridiculous. So we can still catch up. We slide there a little bit, manage to catch the car. But, again, really close with the momentum. And we will have the momentum coming through onto this final exit on the final few seconds of this lap. But we're not going to have the space to go with that momentum. And so we drop all the way back to 9th. And even in 9th, we're less than 2/10 off the leader. Right, next race went even worse than the crash one. Actually, it was much more tormenting, if I can put it that way. So we're gonna speed forward until the first corner, and again, just slipstream, bump draft, slipstream, bump draft the whole time, forming long straight lines of cars pushing each other along to try to pull away from the people behind us. Which sometimes work. If it works, it's gonna work on me. Bit of foreshadowing here. But if it works, you're good. If it doesn't, you're just gonna stay behind, I suppose, all down to the final corner. So as we go through here, I get hit to the wall by the Austrian. Is that Austrian? I think that's Austrian. Hit to the wall, lose a lot of momentum. Too much momentum to the point we're outside of the slipstream range. So this is what I meant by it's gonna work on me. They're gonna work together, and they're gonna push each other away from me, and I'm just gonna infinitely lose time because I'm out of the slipstream. I'm gonna lose time to them, and I'm gonna lose time to the cars ahead of me, the group behind me. They're gonna catch up to me fairly quickly here. It's about 1.5 seconds, but you can see just how much slipstream work. If you keep an eye out on the delta or the gap between us on the left hand side, look how fast they're catching up and how fast I'm losing time. And they're just gonna get past me like I'm a freaking wall. Or a pole or something, and they're standing still. So I get bump draft thankfully from the guy behind me, which means that I'm not completely out of it yet, but I make a mistake here, and I immediately go for the lead of the group, which means that I'm not gonna have the slipstream, no momentum, and they're gonna get ahead of me. At the very end, they're gonna have my slipstream, and they're just gonna slingshot past me, essentially putting a reverse Uno card on me, and I'm gonna finish all the way in 10th. Next race though, if you're watching until this point, then you're lucky because you're not gonna miss this last race. This last race is redemption time, as we're starting 3rd place here, and I'm just gonna speed forward all the way until the end because there's stuff happening, but there's not much happening, and it's a bit too long. Each lap is like 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna speed forward until very end of the race, which is where all the beauty starts to kick off. And I lose a few positions, but you know, like I said 100 times, position doesn't really matter. It's completely irrelevant up until the final last second. And so through here you can see again forming lines, pushing each other along, getting out of the slipstream there, but just staying in the slipstream, holding on to the edge of the rope of the slipstream, managing to catch them back up through here, and again forming a line, pulling away from the group behind us as well, which is good. And this is where the genius of my driving comes into play. So keep an eye out on the throttle there, and you're gonna notice that I'm actually gonna lift. I'm gonna go 50% throttle and purposely drop back to time my momentum. And as inspired by Super GT himself, I'm gonna leave you with this absolute beautiful ending, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.